Right now, it's time for us to speak to another Santa Clarita Unsung Hero. It's brought to you by Mercedes Benz of Valencia. We're fortunate enough to speak with lots of people here in Santa Clarita who have made a difference in a variety of ways. Some of them you've never heard of before. Some of them you may have if you work out and about in Santa Clarita. And this Unsung Hero this time around is no stranger to us here at the radio station. You may not be familiar with him, but he is a certified mortgage consultant, and he has his own successful local business, American Family Funding, which is a division of American Pacific Mortgage. He's also the host of our Business Chamber Spotlight here on KHTS once a month, every third Thursday from 10 a.m. to noon. He's also the incoming chair of the SCV Chamber of Commerce for 2013. He heads the California Mortgage Brokers Association. I don't know where he finds all the hours in the day to do all this, but Fred Arnold is our Unsung Hero this month. How are you, Fred?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Jason.
I appreciate you taking the time, and you are a busy man. I look at all the stuff that you do. Obviously, you have your business, you have the radio show, you do a lot of stuff in and behind the scenes with the military. We talk about that coming up. But talk to me about your background first. Where did you first get involved in the mortgage world? When did you first start?
You know, I was planning to be a United States Air Force pilot, and I didn't make it through pilot training school. A lot of people don't know that, but I didn't make it through pilot training school, but I got my pilot slot my junior year in college. At that point, they were having a reduction in forces, and they said, if you want to get out, then you can, because jobs are going to be not as plentiful in the United States Air Force. So instead of taking a commission, I ended up needing a job right out of college, and a family friend was a mortgage professional, and he said, Fred, why don't you interview, and I'll train you. And that's really how it happened. It happened on a vacation at Newport Beach with my wife and her family, and it was just by chance. And I happened to get a degree in real estate and finance at Cal State Northridge, which happened to be something I was very interested in. So that's how I fell into it and started to love it, because you're helping people. And that was my 21 year, almost 22-year career next month.
How do you apply some of the things that you do as a mortgage consultant to some of the people that you help behind the scenes? We're talking specifically about your work with the military, your passion for military and for veterans, and we see you out in front in so many different ways to support them. We'll talk about the parade here in just a bit and what you did with that. But as a mortgage consultant, is that something that you use to help military families, things like that? What do you do for them?
It wasn't so much that. It was, as a mortgage professional, you have to think outside the box on how to get someone approved, because every situation is different. So you really have to not be creative is not the right word, but position a client in the right place so that the underwriter says this is a good risk. So you have to be somewhat articulate in what you're doing, and you have to really pay attention to detail. My love for the military went back to my ROTC days at UCLA, and my love for the country, and seeing my father be able to start his business and do well with the business because he had the freedom to do that. And so I really appreciated where I was in life, and that's how I was able to have such a great love for our country, was I could accomplish anything I wanted to accomplish. Now, when it comes to being able to help others, I realized if you really focus, and you really focus on accomplishing a task, very much like doing a home loan, then you're able to ignore all the other noise, if you will, and get something done. You're able to, okay, we have to put together this event for these veterans, or for this group, or for this nonprofit. So we have to focus on that. It's really the power of focus. And you got to do the same thing in business when you're trying to focus on a deal. And the two really played very well with each other in being able to focus on a problem or challenge that you have.
We're in studio right now with Fred Arnold, 446. We'll get a traffic update here in just a couple of minutes. He is our Unsung Hero, sponsored by Mercedes Benz of Valencia. Talk to me about your involvement with Habitat for Heroes. It's a new organization here in Santa Clarita. The radio station's involved with it. You're involved with it. What's your involvement? What's been your experience with it?
Well, it's really easy. Carl and Jerry said, would you be a part of our advisory board? I was more than happy to do it. But what was exciting about that is we were able to immediately, thanks to Carl and Jerry, the gas company, and all those involved, immediately make the difference in someone's life by fixing up their home of somebody that was really challenged as far as fixing up their house and accomplishing so many things around the house. We were able to immediately make a difference. Now, I've owned 10 homes in my young career, so I have an appreciation for fixing things up and for changing things and improving them. So I was so excited. But one of the most important things I did with Habitat was I brought my children to paint the house. And when they saw Dad painting the house, now I moved into a house recently and I hired someone to paint it. And when they saw their father painting the house and getting dirty, if you will, I think I was able to show them the right way to give of yourself.
Right.
And I think that was one of the most important things, in addition to everybody coming together for someone in a community. And I think it's the examples we show our children and those watching us, because, Jason, there's somebody always watching you. And that impression you make upon them is really, really important. So that I was real blessed to have that opportunity with Carl and Jerry and the whole Habitat crew.
Can you hang tight for just a few minutes?
Absolutely.
Let me do a quick traffic update here at 4:48. We'll come back, talk more with Fred Arnold, who's our unsung hero here in your hometown station. 4:48, time for a traffic update with traffic every 10 minutes. Want to do this because of the heavy volume of cars on the freeways. It's a getaway Friday, people getting out of town or coming into town for the Christmas vacation. We are very slow on the 5 northbound, starting just before the 405 freeway. It's slammed all the way up to the 514 split. Also, southbound side of the 5 is heavy in Valencia from about Magic Mountain Parkway down through the Newhall Pass. 405 freeway also heavy off and on all the way up from the 101, but really starting to see a lot of brake lights just before the 118 northbound 405 connecting with the 5 freeway. So far, the 14 has been untouched and unchanged by the traffic. It's wide open from the 5 up into the Antelope Valley. Call us if you see a problem, 298-KHTS, 298-5487. All right, 4:49, we're back here with Fred Arnold. He is our unsung hero, sponsored by Mercedes Benz of Valencia. I was out at the 4th of July parade this past summer in town here, Fred, and I saw what you did. You helped to create a special tribute to local fallen heroes. For those that missed it, describe what you did.
Well, I wanted to honor them in the parade, and so it was real simple. We had banners made of each of these young men that passed in the War on Terror since Ricky Slocum died back in, at the beginning of the war. And so there was 11 young men, and we put their picture on their banner, their name, their service, and we had Boy Scouts, we had Scouts, we had volunteers carrying the banners. And they were spaced out about 15 feet wide, if you will, and staggered so that those that want to pay tribute during one of the most celebrated days of the year of patriotism, they could pay tribute to these 11 young men. Now, the exciting thing about it, J.D. Kennedy helped me get a recent graduate for the Air Force Academy to carry the flag.
Yeah.
So you got a young man carrying a flag by himself. Then you have these banners staggered, going back what would probably be a football field length.
Wow.
And the whole group, those that were watching the parade would stand up. Of course, they'd stand up because the flag, but then they realized the depth of what they were seeing, which was these 11 young men and women. And then one of the, or actually in this case, young men, what was really very touching was behind all these young men were their parents, most of their parents, in a flatbed truck by the Prayer Angels. They put that on. And after they paid tribute and saluted or put their hands over their heart, once that second truck came through, everyone clapped for the parents.
Yeah.
And it, the one thing that a fallen soldier's family member told me, mother told me, is I just don't want my son to be forgotten. And I think that's, when I go home and see my children, I realize how lucky I am that I have my children. And I want to do everything I can, not only to pay tribute to that, but to also get the young children in our town to appreciate those that gave of themselves. They can play in their game systems. They can go to school freely. They can go to the skate park. They can go swim. They can play baseball because of the freedoms these young men sacrificed, and many young men and women throughout the world.
It was a very moving tribute, and thank you for helping to put that together. I mentioned earlier you're one of the incoming chairs for the incoming chair for the SUV Chamber of Commerce for 2013. Any things that you'd like to see happen with the chamber in the oncoming year? Continue to grow, obviously. What are you hoping to do?
Well, growth is important, but one of the most important things is we have good companies, we have great companies, and we have some world-class companies in our city. About 10,000 companies, we have 1,100 members. And our number one goal is how do we help those companies either go from good companies to great companies to world-class companies, and if they so choose to, go international. How do we give them the tools and the resources to do that? One thing we started doing was lunch and learns last year, where you can learn. We're going to do a leadership program where we can train young, any age leader within your firm to be a great leader. Also, what resources do you need? Is it marketing? Is it strategic planning? Is it customer service? Being a great company. So we're going to put together a lot of training, educational resources when it comes to that that we haven't had in the recent past. Chris Angelo did a great job introducing all the things he did, and Dana Kopp did a fantastic job. So I'm taking over a very stable, strong Chamber of Commerce. Now, how do we go deeper with the companies we have here in the Santa Clarita Valley to become great companies and to become world-class organizations?
It's good. It's a good way to approach it, and we wish you the best of luck with 2013. A couple other quick things before we let you go, Fred. I know you're very busy and getting the holidays kicked off here very shortly. Fred is our unsung hero from Mercedes Benz. We know that you contribute a lot of time to help kids in our community. Not many people know that you're on the OLPH school board here in town, Our Lady of Perpetual Help, over in Newhall, Valencia area. What do you do there? What's your role on that board?
I'm a member of the school board, and it's all about planning for that. It's a Catholic school. It's actually the only Catholic school, first through eighth. First through eighth, got that. And it's the only Catholic school in this valley that serves this valley. In many valleys, like the San Fernando Valley, you might have 3, 4, 5. And so it serves our entire valley, and it's really about planning for the future.
Yeah.
The school was built in the 60s, and so how do we renovate? How do we renew? How do we keep up? Because I'm telling you right now, Jason, the schools in the Santa Clarita Valley, the public schools are very good.
Yeah.
And so they're also trying to be very, very good. They want to compete with it. Not only do they have the religious part of the education, but they're looking, how do we compete with also a very good public school system? And so it's exciting to be a part of that. And when I say compete, it's all about the kids. It's not about whether the Newhall School District or this school district's better than the other. It's all about giving excellence to those that choose that and giving excellence to those that choose public school. My kids go to public school, but I'm giving back to my faith and helping them grow. And that's what it's all about. We got to make sure we focus on what the end result is, which is helping all kids in the Santa Clarita Valley, no matter what their faith or denomination or choice of private versus public.
And I know LPH, they're going through a big expansion building-wise and size-wise over there with a variety of different buildings. They've been wanting to do that for a while.
Yeah, much needed church and finally a new parking lot so we can park.
Right.
But yes, the good thing is about it is it's well needed for a lot of those of the Catholic faith in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Let me also wrap up with asking you about Single Mothers Outreach, the work that you do for them. What's the best part of doing what you do, and what do you do to help them?
I just love helping out Dan. I'm on part of their advisory committee, and they put on a lot of events. Really, the Unsung Heroes are the members of their board and all those that are planning. I'm just a little bit part of the golf tournament they do, and they do a lot of fundraisers, but also bringing awareness to single mothers and actually single parents here in the Santa Clarita Valley. They have a different set of challenges. They might be financially okay, but then there's, they're not a two-parent household. Not that that's good or bad. Yeah. It's just how do we give the resources necessary so people can be successful and help guide our children in our future.
I think one of the reasons that you're one of the unsung heroes is because you got so many balls in the air, Fred, and you're able to juggle them all. You got your family, you got your business, you got your faith, you've got the nonprofits that you help out. It's a juggling job, but you do it.
Yeah. One last comment I'll make is my wife. She's terrific. I get home at 7:30. She respects that. If I have an event to go to, she's very respectful. That house is always really well taken care of, and that's a full-time 24/7 job. Mine's only from 6 in the morning to 7:30 at night, and so really she's the unsung hero at our home. And all the mothers and fathers that fill the gap when we're at work is really what it's all about.
Congratulations for being selected this time around, Fred. Thank you for all you do in the community. We appreciate it.
Jason, thank you.
Fred Arnold is the Unsung Hero, sponsored by Mercedes Benz of Valencia. You can check out more of our Unsung Heroes online at hometownstation.com. This interview in video and in audio will be posted very shortly there, and you can check out all the other recipients and all the other selectors there as well. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
All right.